doing it. And we have taken it home with us at night. Hope you do the same. Thank you. Reception downstairs. Following, you can go out the store and down the steps. So please join us for that. And we get to meet some of these wonderful cast members.
Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it.
Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. Scrooge and he were partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole friend, his sole mourner.
Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, was Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, covetous old sinner. No wind that blew was bitterer than he. No falling snow was more intent upon its purpose. No pelting rain less open to entreaty. Scrooge edged his way through the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep its distance.
Once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. It was cold, bleak, biting, foggy weather. The city clocks had only just gone 3, but it was quite dark already.
The door of Scrooge's counting house was open, that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, who, in a distant little cell beyond, a sort of tank, was copying letters. Scrooge had a very small fire, but the clerk's fire was so very much smaller that it looked like he only had 1 coal.
But he couldn't replenish it, for Scrooge kept the coal box in his own room. And so surely as the clerk came in with the shovel, the master predicted that it would be necessary for them to part. Wherefore the clerk put on his blue comforter and tried to warm himself at the candle. In which effort, not being a man of strong imagination, he failed.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
It was the voice of Scrooge's nephew, who came upon him so quickly, this was the first Scrooge knew of his approach.
Ah, humbug! Christmas? Oh, Uncle, surely you don't mean that.
Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it. But you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone then. Much good has it made you. Much good has it ever done you.
There are many things from which I have derived good, by which I have not profited, I dare say. Christmas among the rest. But I am sure I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable time. A pleasant time. The only time I know of in the long calendar of the year when men and women open their shut hearts freely and think of people below them as if they were fellow travelers in the grave, not another race of creatures bound on other journeys. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
Let me hear another sound from you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation.
Oh, don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. But cannot we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I am sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute. We have never had any quarrel to which I have been a part, but I have made the trial and homage to Christmas, and I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon.
His nephew left the room without an angry word notwithstanding. The clerk, in letting Scrooge's nephew out, let another person in.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. drink and to provide warmth for them. What is keenly felt? An abundance of rejoices.
Are there no prisons?
Oh, there are plenty of presents, but they scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind and body. What shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
Do you wish to be anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. That is what I wish. Since you asked me what I wish, this is my answer. I don't make merry at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help to support the prisoners in the workhouse. Those who are badly off must go there.
Well, many can't go there, and many would rather die.
Well, if they would rather die, then they'd better hurry up and do it and decrease the surplus population.
At length the hour of shutting up the counting house arrived. With an ill-will Scrooge, dismounting from his stool, tacitly admitted the fact to the expectant clerk in the tank, who instantly snuffed his candle out.
You want all day tomorrow, I suppose.
It's quite convenient, sir.
Well, it's not convenient, and it's not fair. If I was to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself mightily ill-used, I'll be bound.
It's only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. Be here all the earlier next morning.
The office was closed in a twinkling, and the clerk, with the long ends of his blue comforter dangling below his waist, for he boasted no greatcoat, went down a slide at the end of the lane of boys 20 times in honor of its being Christmas Eve, and then ran home with heart's help to play at blind man's bluff.
Woohoo!
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and beguiled the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went home to bed.
Now, it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on the door of this house, except that it was very large. Scrooge has seen it night and morning during his whole residence in that place. And yet he saw in the knocker, not a knocker, but Marley's face.
Marley's face, with a dismal light about it, like a bad lobster in a dark cellar. It was not angry or ferocious, but a look that Scrooge as Marley used to look, with ghostly spectacles turned up upon its ghostly forehead.
As Scrooge looked fixedly at this phenomenon, it was a knocker again. He said, closed the door with a bang, and up the stairs he went, not caring a button for its being dark. Darkness is cheap. Scrooge liked it.
He took off his cravat, put on his dressing gown and slippers and nightcap, and sat down before the low fire to take his gruel.
As he threw his head back in the chair, his glance happened to rest upon a bell, a disused bell that hung in the room and communicated, for some purpose now forgotten, the chamber in the highest story of the building. It was with great astonishment and with a strange, inexplicable dread that as he looked, he saw this bell begin to swing. It rang out loudly, and so did every bell in the house.
This was repeated by a clanging noise deep down, as if below, as if heavy chains were being dragged over the cask in the wine merchant's cellar.
cold eyes and noticed the very texture of the folded kerchief bound about its head and shoes.
Who are you?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
What do you want with me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit does not go forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing hole. And weary journeys lie before me.
But Jacob, you were a good man of business.
Business! Business! Business was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, benevolence, all were my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
Scrooge was very much dismayed to hear the specter going on at this rate, and began to quake exceedingly.
Hear me! My time is nearly gone. I'm here to warn you that you have yet a chance and a hope of escaping my fate. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob? I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path that I tread. Expect the first tomorrow night when the bell tolls 1. Expect the second the next night at the same hour. The third the next night. And when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate, look to see me no more. And look that, for your own sake, you remember what has passed between us.
Exactly from him. Every single time, the window raised itself a little, so that when the apparition reached it, it was wide open.
Scrooge closed the window and examined the door by which the ghost had entered. It was double locked as he had locked it with his own hands, and the bolts were undisturbed. Scrooge tried to say humbug, but stopped at the first syllable.
And being fatigued from the emotion he had undergone, he went straight to bed without undressing and fell asleep on the instant.
When Scrooge awoke, it was so dark that looking out of bed he could scarcely distinguish the transparent window from the opaque walls of his chamber, until suddenly the church clock tolled a deep, dull, hollow, melancholy 1.
Light flashed up in the room upon the instant, and the curtains of his bed were drawn aside by a strange figure, like a child. Yet not so like a child as like an old man, viewed through some supernatural medium, which gave him the appearance of having receded from view and being diminished to a child's proportions.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past. The things that you will see with me are shadows of things that have been.
rose, but finding the spirit made toward the window, clasped its robe in supplication.
I am mortal and liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon a snow-covered country road.
Good heaven! I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
The spirit gazed upon him mildly. Its gentle touch appeared to still be present to the old man's sense of feeling. He was conscious of 1,000 odors floating in the air, each one connected with 1,000 thoughts and hopes and joys and cares long, long forgotten.
Your lip is trembling. And what is that upon your cheek?
Scrooge muttered with an unusual catch in his voice that it was a pimple and begged the ghost to lead him where he would. A little market town appeared in the distance. Some shaggy ponies were seen trotting toward them with boys upon their backs. The boys were in great spirits and shouted to each other with glee as they rode away from a schoolhouse seemingly abandoned.
The school is not quite deserted, I think. A solitary child, neglected by his parents, is still there.
Scrooge said he knew it, and he sobbed.
The boy in the schoolhouse sat at a lone desk, reading. He stopped reading and began pacing up and down despairingly.
Scrooge looked at the ghost with a mournful shaking of his head and glanced anxiously at the door. It opened, and a little girl much younger than he came darting in.
I've come to bring you home, dear brother, to bring you home, home, home. Home for good and all, home forever and ever.
Home, little fan?
Father's so much kinder than he used to be, and I wasn't afraid to ask him one more time, and he said, yes, you should come home, and he said we had a coach to bring you.
You are quite a woman, little fan.
She clapped her hands and laughed, and tried to touch his head, but being too little, laughed again, and stood on tiptoe to embrace him. Then she began to drag him, in her childish eagerness, toward the door, and he followed her.
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered. But she had a large heart.
So she has, Spirit. So she has.
She died as a young woman, and had, as I think, children.
One child, Spirit. One child.
Your nephew.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood in the busy thoroughfares of the city. The window dressing of the shops made it plain that here, too, it was Christmas time. The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door and asked Scrooge if he knew it.
Knew it? Wasn't I apprenticed here? Why, there's old Fezziwig. Bless his heart. Fezziwig is alive again.
Old Fezziwig laid down his pen and looked up at the clock, which pointed to the hour of 7. He rubbed his hands, adjusted his capacious waistcoat, laughed over himself, from his shoes to his jolly face, and called out in a comfortable, oily, rich, fat, jovial voice,
You hello there, Ebenezer, Dick.
A living and moving picture of Scrooge's former self, a young man, came briskly in, accompanied by his fellow apprentice.
Dick Wilkins, to be sure. My old fellow apprentice. Bless me, yes. There he is. He was very much attached to me. He was Dick. Dear Dick.
You heard my voice. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up, and before a man can say Jack Bottoms, clear away, my lead lads, and let's have lots of room here.
Clear away. There was nothing they wouldn't have cleared away or could have cleared away with old Fezziwig looking on. Every movable was packed off as if it were dismissed from public life forevermore. The floor was swept and watered. The lamps were trimmed. Fuel was heaped upon the fire. And the warehouse was as snug and warm and dry and bright a ballroom as you would desire to see upon a winter's night.
In came a fiddler with a music book. In came all the men and women employed in the business. In came the housemaid with her cousin the baker. In they all came.
When the clock struck 11, this domestic ball broke up. Bessie Webb shook hands with every person, wishing each one a Merry Christmas.
When they all had left, the two apprentices went to their beds under a counter in the back shop, where they poured out their hearts in praise of Fezziwig.
A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude. He has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money. 3 or 4, perhaps. Is that so much? He
Isn't
deserves
that-
this praise?
It isn't that, Spirit. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. Say that his power lies in his words and looks. It's things so slight and insignificant, it is impossible to add and count them up. What then? The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune.
What's the matter?
Nothing particular.
Something, I think.
No. I'd like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now. That's all.
Scrooge awoke in his bedroom. There was no doubt about that. But it, in its own adjoining sitting room, into which he shuffled his slippers, had undergone a transformation.
The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked a perfect grove. The leaves of holly, mistletoe, and ivy reflected back the light as if many little mirrors had been scattered there, and such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as that petrifaction of a hearth had never known in Scrooge's time, or Marley's, or for many and many a winter season gone.
Upon this couch there sat a giant glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch, in shape not unlike Plenty's horn, and raised it high to shed its light on Scrooge, as he came peeping around the door.
Come in, and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. Have you ever seen the like of me before?
Never.
I've never walked forth with my younger members of my family, meaning, for I am very young, my elder brothers, born in these late years.
I don't think I have. I'm afraid I have not. Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
More than 1,800. Touch my robe.
Scrooge did as he was told and held it fast. The room and its contents all vanished instantly, and they stood in the city streets upon a snowy Christmas morning. Scrooge and the ghost passed on, invisible, into Bob Cratchit's house.
Then up rose Mrs. Cratchit, dressed out poorly in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbons, which are cheap and make a goodly show for 6pence, and she laid the cloth.
Whatever has got your precious children then?
In came Bob, the father, with his threadbare clothes darned up and brushed, to look seasonable, and Tiny Tim upon his shoulder. Alas, for Tiny Tim, he bore a little crutch, and had his limbs supported by an iron frame.
And how did little Tim behave?
As good as gold, or better. Somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much, and thinks the strangest things you've ever heard. He told me coming home that he hoped that people saw him in church, because he was a cripple, and it might be pleasant to them to remember on Christmas Day, who made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Bob's voice was tremulous when he told them this, and trembled more when he said that Tiny Tim was growing strong and hardy. At last the dinner was all done, and all the Cratchit family drew round the hearth in what Bob Cratchit called a circle.
A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Tiny Tim sat very close to his father's side upon his little stool. Bob held his withered little hand in his, as if he wished to keep him by his side, and dreaded that he might be taken from him.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
See a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
No, kind spirit. Say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him here. What then? If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Scrooge hung his head to hear his own words quoted by the Spirit, and was overcome by penitence and grief.
My life upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight. Hark! The time is drawing near.
I see something strange under your robe, Spirit. Is it a foot or a claw?
It might be a claw, for all the flesh there is upon it. Look here.
From the foldings of its robe, it brought two children.
They were a boy and girl, yellow, meager, ragged, scowling, wolfish, but prostrate too in their humility. Where angels might have dwelt, devils lurked and glared out menacing. No perversion of humanity has monsters half so horrible and so dread.
Spirit, are they yours?
They are man's. This boy is ignorance. This girl is want. Beware them both. But most of all, beware of this boy. For on his brow I see that written which is doom, unless the writing be erased.
Are there no refuge or resource?
So, are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Scrooge looked up about him for the ghost and saw it no more. As the last stroke ceased to vibrate, he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley, and lifting up his eyes, beheld a solemn phantom, draped and hooded, coming like a mist along the ground towards him.
The phantom slowly, gravely, silently approached. When it came near him, Scrooge bent down upon his knee, for the air through which this spirit moved seemed to scatter gloom and mystery.
It was shrouded in a deep black garment, which concealed its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible save one outstretched hand. He knew no more, for the spirit neither spoke nor moved.
Am I in the presence, the ghost of Christmas yet to come? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I have seen.
The phantom was motionless and silent.
But I know your purpose is to do the good, and as I hope to live to be another man for what I was, I am prepared to bear your company and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me?
It gave him no reply. The spirit raised its hand and pointed straight before him.
Lead on, lead on. The night is waning fast, and it's precious time to me. I know. Lead on, spirit.
The spirit led the way into an obscure part of town to a low shop, where iron, old rags, bottles, bones, and greasy offal were bought. A gray-haired rascal of great age sat smoking his pipe.
Scrooge and the phantom came into the presence of this man, just as a woman with a heavy bundle slunk into the shop. But she had scarcely entered when another woman, similarly laden, came in too. They both burst into a laugh.
Look here, old Joe, here's a chance for a May won't meaning it.
You couldn't imagine a better place. What have you got to sell? What have you got to sell?
Have a minute's patience, Joe, and you shall see.
Joe went down on his knees for the greater convenience of opening the bundle and dragged out a large and heavy roll of some dark stuff.
What do you call this? Bed curtains? You don't mean to say you took them down with him lying there?
Yes, I do. Why not? Every person has a right to take care of themselves. They always did. Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
No, I guess not, Mum.
I certainly shan't hold my hand when I can get anything in it by reaching it out, for the sake of such a man as he. I promise you, Joe, don't drop that oil on the blanket now.
His blankets?
Else do you think? He isn't likely to take cold with them now, without them, I dare say.
He was born to make your fortune, and I'm sure you'll do it. What is this? A nightshirt?
It is.
Hope you didn't guard anything catching.
Don't give me a front thought, Joe. I had so fun just coming out of lore about those things he did. Especially how I'm on them too. It's wasted. I'm dead for me.
Wasted? Wasted? What do you mean?
Put it on to bury them to be sure. Somebody's fool enough to do it, but I took it off again. Calico, goodness, it's such a purpose. It isn't good enough for anything. It's quite coming to the body. I'm uglier than even that one.
Scrooge listened to this dialogue in horror.
Spirit, I see. The case of this unhappy man might be my own. My life tends to way now. Spirit, let me see some tenderness connected with the dead, or this dark chamber will be forever present to me.
The ghost conducted him to poor Bob Cratchit's house.
Quiet, very quiet. The younger children were as still as statues as they sat looking up at the oldest sister who was holding a book. It was very, very quiet.
He took a child and said it next to them. Where had Scrooge heard those words? He had not dreamed them. The girl must have read them out as he and the spirit crossed the threshold. Why did he not go on?
The mother laid her work upon the table and put her hand up to her face.
The color hurts my eyes.
The color. Oh, poor Tiny Tim.
They're better now again. He's been weak by candlelight. And I wouldn't show weak eyes to your father when he comes home for the world. He must be near his time.
Past it, Mother, but I think he walks a little slower than he used these last few evenings, Mother.
I have known him walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder, very fast indeed.
So have I. Often.
But he was very light to carry, and his father loved him so. It was no trouble. And there, your father's at the door.
She hurried to meet him, and little Bob and his comforter. He had need of it, poor fellow. His tea was ready for him on the hob, and they tried who should help him to it most.
Bob was very cheerful with them and spoke pleasantly to all the family. He looked at the needlework upon the table and praised the industry and speed of Mrs. Cratchit and the girls. They would be done long before Sunday, you said.
Sunday? You went to Davy, Robert?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone. It would have done you good to see how green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him I would walk there this Sunday. My little child, my little child.
He broke down all at once. He couldn't help it. If he could have helped it, he and his child would have been farther apart, perhaps, than they were.
Spirit, something informs me that our parting moment is at hand. I know it, but I know not how. Tell me what man that was, with the covered face, whom we saw lying down.
The ghost of Christmas yet to come, conveyed into a dismal, wretched, ruinous churchyard. The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one.
Before I draw nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of the things that may be only?
Still, the ghost pointed downward to the grave by which it stood.
Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends, to which, if persevered in, they must lead. But if the courses be departed from, the end will change. Say it is thus would you show me. Say it is thus would you show me, please.
The spirit was immovable as ever. Scrooge crept towards it, trembling as he went, and falling a finger, read upon the stone of the neglected grave his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Am I that man who lay upon the bed? No, Spirit. Oh, no. Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I was, and I will not be the man I must have been. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Assure me that I yet may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life.
For the first time, the kind hand faltered.
I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall stay within me. I will not shut out the lessons what they teach. Oh, tell me I may sponge away the writing on the stone.
Holding up his hands in one last prayer to have his fate reversed, he saw an alteration in the phantom's hood and dress. It shrunk, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost.
Yes, and the bedpost was his own. The bed was his own. The roof was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own to make amends in.
He was checked in his transport by the churches ringing out the lustiest peals he had ever heard. Running to the window, he opened it and put his head out. No fog, no mist, no night. Clear, bright, stirring, golden day.
What's today?
Then,
What's today, my fine fellow?
today, why, Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. Hello, my fine fellow.
Hello.
Do you know the Coulters in the next street but one, at the corner?
I should hope I did.
An intelligent boy, a remarkable boy. Do you know whether they sold the Christ turkey that was hanging there? Not the little Christ turkey, the big one.
What, the one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now.
Is it? Go and buy it.
Walk then.
No, I am earnest. Go and buy it and tell them to bring it here, that I may give them directions to take it. Come back with the man, and I'll give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes, and I'll give you half a crown.
And the boy was off like a shot.
I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim.
Scrooge dressed himself all in his best and got out into the streets. Walking with his hands behind him, Scrooge regarded everyone with a delighted smile. He looked so irresistibly pleasant. In a word, that 3 or 4 good-humored fellows said, "Good morning, sir. A Merry Christmas to you."
Scrooge said often afterwards that of all the blithe sounds he had ever heard, these were the blithiest in his ears.
He was early at the office next morning. Oh, He was early there. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming in late, that was the thing he set his heart upon.
And he did it. The clock struck 9. No Bob. A quarter past. No Bob. Bob was full 18 minutes and a half behind his time. Scrooge sat with his door wide open that he might see him come into the tank.
Bob's hat was off before he opened the door. His comforter, too. He was on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen, as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock.
Hello, what do you mean by coming here at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are. Yes, I think you are. Step this way, if you please.
It's only once a year, sir. It shall not be repeated. Only making rather merry yesterday.
Now, I'll tell you what, my friend, I'm going to stand for this thing any longer. And therefore, I'm about to raise your salary.
Bob trembled and picked up a ruler.
A Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family. And we will assist your affairs this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Bob, make up the fires and buy a second coal shuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more, and to Tiny Tim, who did not die. He was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. People laughed to see the alteration in him, but in his own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him.
He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived in that respect upon the total abstinence principle, ever afterwards. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed that knowledge.
May that be truly said of us, and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us